When you realize your own flesh and blood have spent months plotting to steal your entire future, something inside your soul goes completely cold. I was woke up at the crack of dawn by a piercing notification on my phone, while my rescue cat was still snoring soundly against my ankle. The message was a harsh warning from my financial institution stating that my entire life savings had been locked due to suspicious administrative updates. My name is Clara, and at 36 years old, I have worked tirelessly as a senior nurse manager in a high-intensity trauma center. The frozen assets totaled over $500,000, a protective legacy established by my late grandfather when I was barely out of my teens. He explicitly designed the trust so my financially toxic mother could never access a single penny, warning me that greed would eventually drive them to manipulate me. Instead of contacting the financial institution immediately, I made the massive mistake of dialing my mother to seek comfort in a moment of sheer panic. She answered on the very first ring, sounding completely alert at an hour when she usually would be deep asleep. Her voice lacked any maternal warmth as she flatly informed me that she and my father had taken total control of my estate for my own personal protection. My father joined the conversation on speakerphone, utilizing the exact same patronizing tone he used during his decades working as a corporate insurance adjuster. He casually explained that they had secured a legal power of attorney, along with a certified medical declaration stating I was mentally unfit to handle my finances. They weaponized my recent breakup and normal workplace exhaustion to paint me as an unstable individual who required their intervention. I severed the call instantly, my entire body trembling with rage as I realized they had not witnessed my daily life in nearly a year. I refused to let them see me crumble, so I dressed in my sharpest professional attire and drove straight to the local branch to confront the administration. During the drive, the pieces of the puzzle began clicking together as I remembered my older sister and her deeply indebted husband. My sister Clara had spent years drowning in debt while living a lavish lifestyle funded almost entirely by my parents' dwindling retirement accounts. I had recently declined to guarantee a massive private loan for her children, and her sudden cold shoulder suddenly made perfect logical sense. She was the architect of this entire scheme, driven by a desperate need to access the wealth my grandfather had fiercely protected from them. The branch manager, a meticulous professional named Mr. Vance, escorted me into his private office and rotated his computer screen so I could review the fraudulent documents. There was a freshly executed power of attorney bearing a signature that looked remarkably like mine, except for a distinct lack of my signature style. Attached to it was a fabricated psychological assessment recommending immediate family intervention, signed by a completely fictitious out-of-town clinician. The digital footprints left behind on the scanned files provided the final, undeniable evidence that shattered the remaining illusions about my relatives. Mr. Vance pointed out that the embedded information within the uploaded file identified the registered owner of the home scanner as my brother-in-law. The manager explained that moving forward with a fraud report meant my family would face severe federal felony charges, and he asked if I truly wanted to proceed. I looked at the corporate screen, ignored the incoming calls buzzing on my silenced phone from my panicked mother, and officially authorized the criminal investigation. Within 30 minutes, a sharp local detective named Officer Gibson arrived to document the forgery, analyze the digital evidence, and secure the fraudulent faxes. She warned me that my parents would likely show up at any moment to put on a desperate dramatic performance to validate their lies. Right on cue, my mother swept into the lobby looking immaculate and weaving a tragic tale to the teller about her profoundly unstable daughter. Officer Gibson stepped out from the back office and calmly requested their identification before escorting them into a private room for intense questioning. They walked right past my glass partition, and my mother looked straight through me as if I were a complete stranger who did not matter. The interrogation completely dissolved their coordinated story within minutes, as my parents provided wildly conflicting dates and spelled the fake doctor's name entirely differently. When my brother-in-law tried to call my mother's phone during the interview, the police officer noted the contact details matching the digital evidence. My parents were placed under arrest right there in the building, and I could hear the heavy metal handcuffs clicking from across the lobby. By that afternoon, the police had also apprehended my sister and her husband at their suburban home, charging the entire group with multiple federal offenses. The subsequent legal battle lasted nearly a year, exposing a massive history of identity theft committed by my brother-in-law using that same home office printer. The presiding judge showed absolutely no leniency, sentencing the conspirators to lengthy terms in federal prison while ordering full financial restitution. I attended the final sentencing hearing sitting completely upright in the gallery, refusing to look away when my mother turned around to face me one last time. Today, my grandfather's legacy remains entirely secure in a completely different financial institution, under strict multi-factor authentication protocols that no relative can breach. My true family consists of the loyal friends who have actually shown up for me through the darkest chapters of my existence. This painful experience taught me that when people use a gentle voice to strip away your autonomy under the guise of love, you must believe their cruelty immediately. The phrase family first is too often used as a weapon to demand your silence while they quietly take everything you have built. True family will always protect your independence, respect your boundaries, and never require you to sacrifice your own sanity for their survival.